Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Sammy United People's TV, and we're here with the Michael Carrick agreement announcement from David Ornstein from British Romano. The news is breaking pretty much right now. We're going to speak about his backroom staff. Doesn't look like Darren Fletcher's part of it. I'm going to run through everything that we know. We should be getting the announcement a little bit later on today. I'll probably go live when that happens, and we can have a conversation, probably run through Carrick's first words. He's expected to be in Carrington tomorrow to take charge of training ahead of the derby at Old Trafford on Saturday. Ahead of an introduction for him as caretaker manager. But yeah, well, caretaker head coach. Anyway, I'm going to run through everything. You're going to let me know what you think in the comments, and we can have a chat about it. And I'll tell you what, I'm feeling a bit more chipper today. Yesterday, I was probably doom and gloom. I couldn't take any sort of excitement out of United pivoting towards Carrick. But now I'm just on board with it. You know what? Come on, man. Smash it for these next few months. We'll run through the news. Let me see who's here. Say hello to everybody, and we can get on with today's show. JC, good morning to you. To Carl as well. We've got Maddie. We've got Alex, I think you're down there too. We've also got some members. We've got Shane. We've got Smee. We've got Simon. We've got Toby. Liam. We've got Simon Benjamin. Mania. ASEC. And some non-members. Let's say hello to some non-members. Andrew Elvin. We've also got Gungshi, good morning to you, dude. We've got Frogman, John, Sam, top tier name. Let's go, all right? And Gungshi, just every single day, you are the Don of the Dons, right? The Don of the Dons. Thank you so much, man. Everybody jump on Discord. There'll be plenty of conversation going around. Now, before I get into talk about United, yeah, I mean, that didn't exactly work out, did it? Bloody hell. That's some drop-off for Xabi Alonso. I say drop-off. It just never really worked for him at Real Madrid, did it? Man, that club is brutal. Is it the biggest? I mean, it is the biggest job in world football, isn't it? What would you... I mean, I just answered my own bloody question. It's Real Madrid. And before I get into the Carrick news, there's two bits of United... What? I say United news? Yeah, I suppose this isn't the United news, but... Genuinely, I am so happy. Like, there's not much for me to be happy about at Manchester United, truth be told. But I promise you I am happy that United aren't doing signings like this. And funnily enough, it's actually been Spurs who have done both of them. Two players, Matthias Tell last January, Conor Gallagher this January. You look at it and go, it's probably a player that would kind of improve our options right now. But like come the summer, am I really going to want that player in my starting 11? Is that player really going to be a 40 million euro player inside this squad? The answer is no. It definitely isn't. Like, there would have been people that probably would have been happy if United had done this. But I wouldn't have been. It might impress. And this is where United fans are going to fairly be annoyed. Like we all know this January transfer window is an opportunity given what the league is doing. But yeah, I'm not going to be looking at this. Like I said, Frogman, look, it's not a case of preferring Ugarte. I know that I do it every bloody summer. My dream summer. And I sit there and I look at all the signings that I've been making, all the sales I've made. It's dead easy. Dead easy. Never works out that way. Would I be upset if United moved Ugarte on and replaced him with Gallagher? Probably less upset than if we went out and signed Gallagher. But anyway, I'm quite happy that United aren't going for those sorts of signings. Truth be told. And I want to say a quick congratulations to Chido Obi, who bagged 2 last night for the under-21s. Because if you remember, like Chido last season, Hoyland couldn't hit a barn door. We needed goals. He was drafted into the first team. Was he 16 at the time? Was he 17? I can't remember. Anyway, he's still very young. And it's good to see him smiling and good to see him getting a couple of goals for the under-21s. Because I think he was kind of thrust into the spotlight probably earlier than United anticipated. Probably earlier than he anticipated. And then I suppose it's a backward step from that point. If you've been in the first team, to go back into the reserves and to go back into the under-18s. Well, I'm not under-18s. Under-21s. It's good to see him scoring 2. So, it's a good thing. All right? Shall we run through the breaking news? Got my notifications on for United just in case the announcement comes. It didn't come. But we have got the confirmation from David Ornstein. So let's run through the news. David, Cheeto was invisible otherwise. Oh, yeah, my striker was invisible apart from the fact that he scored 2 goals. Like Erling Haaland did that for bloody ages for City. Nobody was going, oh, he's invisible. Mate, your striker scored 2 goals. Doesn't matter if he sat down watching a Sopranos episode in the corner of the pitch with his feet up. If he scores 2 goals, do that for the rest of the game. Don't really care. Anyway. Yeah, Malassia did score. I mean, I'm happy for him. Malassia doesn't have a future at Manchester United, but I'm happy for him that he's playing, he's regaining his fitness, and hopefully he can get a move elsewhere and actually enjoy the next few years of his career. I don't really think he's a bad egg in any way, shape, or form. I thought it was a bit unfair that Malassia got lumped into that bomb squad. Yeah. Don't know why I made that noise. Let's move. Let's move on and let's speak through the announcement. This is breaking right this second. Maybe not right this second. In the last 5-10 minutes. So let's run through it. This was from David Ornstein about an hour ago. Okay? So I've kind of lied about 5-10 minutes. But the backroom staff is just happening right now. David Ornstein. Manchester United have reached an agreement in principle with Michael Carrick and coaching staff to take over until the end of the season. Appointments are subject to finalising contract details and the announcement. In position for United ahead of City visit this Saturday. Let's run through the full article. Actually, no. This is Fabrizio Romano just following up with a tap-in. Carrick is signed as a new United caretaker manager. Verbal agreement since yesterday, now sorted in all details, and backroom staff also. So is he saying that the contract is signed? I don't know. Right. More details. United have reached an agreement in principle to appoint Carrick. The deal, which includes a former midfielder's proposed staff, which I'll run through next, is subject to finalising contract details with an announcement expected soon. Should everything progress as planned, Carrick's first game in charge will be against City on Saturday. Athletic reported on Monday moved into pole position. Process of appointing an interim coach has been led. Sign off, blah, blah, blah. Boring. Carrick, we can run through that after. We can run through that. It's just all fluff there. No real information. Now, on top of that, we've also got confirmation on his backroom staff, which was going to be an interesting conversation because I saw, was it last 48 hours, Adam Lawrence leaving Newcastle. He only joined there this sub. Remember, Adam Lawrence left United under 18s, won the treble with them, left the under 18s and went and became under 21s coach at Newcastle. And then he's left after 4 months. I saw Howson spoke about it yesterday. I didn't actually realise that. I got sent it after. Anyway, it's not Adam Lawrence. I thought it might be, but it's not. And it's not even Darren Fletcher, okay? It's come from Sammy Watt-Bell from the BBC. Michael Carrick has agreed to become United's interim head coach, and former England assistant manager Steve Holland is set to be his number 2. Jonathan Woodgate, Johnny Evans and Travis Binion will also be part of Carrick's staff. Actually, I've only just clocked that. Travis Binion. That means United need an under-21s coach. Does that mean Adam Lawrence has come back to United and be an under-21s coach? I mean, that'll be a downward step for him. Could it mean that I think Darren Fletcher, imagine, would go back in and become the under-18s coach, see if there's anything more inside here. Nothing down there. But, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to bring up a picture of Gareth Southgate here. I know. Don't shoot me. Steve Holland. Am I really going to get that excited? Honestly, and I promise you I'm not just saying this just to kind of appease everything. Am I really going to give a toss about backroom staff? Like, I want Jonathan Woodgate anywhere bloody near my club. No, not really. I think Sammy Mockbell is suggesting that Fletcher will go back down to work with the under-18s. But look, am I going to get excited about backroom staff? No, not really. Did I really know much about Carlos Fernandez or Adelio Candido or Paulo Barrera when Ruben Amorim came in? I did a little bit of research on them, but I effectively followed him round since his, Casapia's days? Jonathan Woodgate worked with Michael Carrick at Borough. Did Carrick work with Steve Holland before, or is he just bringing him in from an experience perspective? The fact that he's been England's assistant manager. Now, if you're looking at the impact that the coaching staff had on Ruben Amorim, Carlos Fernandez, you all know what he brought to the team. He was set pieces. And United were significantly better at set pieces this season. He kind of delegated a little bit. I don't quite know. But that's the majority of the Carrick info, detail, and the news. The announcement's expected today. The agreement's in place. He should be taking charge of training tomorrow. So Carrick is going to have, and this sucks, Carrick's going to have 2 training sessions. 2 full ones and probably a light one on Friday. But 2 training sessions with this Manchester United team before playing a City side who have looked pretty indomitable for a lot of this season. Now, I'm going to go down here and read some of your comments. A6 saying, why so people so opposed to Woodgate? Play for Leeds. Not a very nice man. You can go and read some of the stories about him. And you're saying Carrick concerns him. Plays possession-based football and he's joining us, who can't seem to string 5 decent passes together. Look, I'm going to do my... Today, well, it's going to be a busy day. It's going to be a busy day. When do I ever not say that? Anyway, my video going out on a little bit on Carrick's tactics and approach. I'm sure there are loads of videos already out there, but I'm just going to do my one. Been watching a bit of him, been doing plenty of research. I'll run through that and also what I think United's strongest 11 will be. We'll then run through the starting 11 for the City game on Thursday. But yeah, Michael Carrick plays a patient brand of football. Michael Carrick wants his teams to have more of the ball than the opposition. Senny Lemons, if you look, I think if I was to look at the stats of percentages of goal kicks that have gone long in the Premier League, I guarantee Senny Lemons is pretty high on that list. That will change under Carrick. And what's everyone's look? What's your opinion on everything now that we know far more of the details? Carrick in, Steve Holland and Jonathan Woodgate and Johnny Evans. I find it funny. I suppose, does Johnny Evans have any coaching badges? Anyone know? It kind of feels like when players get towards that older age, they do their coaching badges whilst they're playing. I think so. I can't remember. Anyway, Johnny Evans, he left United as the head of loans because he wanted to go and spend more time with his family. And then United came knocking on the door and said, do you want to be a coach under Darren Fletcher for a couple of games? He's like, go on then. Don't know why accent came out there. And now he's staying on as a bloody assistant manager for Michael Carrick. Sorry, Helen. We'll have to delay that by an extra 6 months. Yeah, I don't know whether he's done them or whether he's doing them. But Johnny Evans is very much learning on the job. And that's pretty much why Michael Carrick has brought in Steve Holland. That is the equivalent of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer bringing in Mike Phelan. Isn't it? You know, Solskjaer had Mike Phelan, and then he had Kieran McKenna and Michael Carrick, I think. Carrick's setup is Holland stepping into that Phelan role, and Binion and Evans being his McKenna and his Carrick, I suppose. Anyway, what's your feeling down here? Like, I've seen that quite a few people keep saying, just hoping Carrick doesn't become a yes man. Like, what do people mean when they say that? Like, I know it's like people who throw the word woke out, but then can't really have a conversation about it. Like, what do you mean when you say, oh, it's just going to be a yes man? What, like Wilcox comes in, play 5 at the back. All right. Play 2 at the back. Yeah, no problem. Like, what do you mean is he going to be a yes man? Just curious, because I see loads of people throwing it around. So what's that like? You're going to... Yeah, I'm just curious. Because I think it's a grand statement, but I don't really think there's much substance to it. Right, let me see what you're saying down here. Is Carrick's promise to remain the coach for next season if he finishes this season in the top 4? I don't know whether there's going to be any promises, but I'm going to stay pretty firm on this. Like, Michael Carrick shouldn't be Manchester United manager next season, and it doesn't matter what happens between now and the end of the season. That's my position on it. Come the summer, look, Carrick can put this football club in an... Like, when you think about this, right, step back. Don't even think about Manchester United here. If you're Michael Carrick, what's the odds on you... Like, it could happen. Maybe the conversation would exist. But if it doesn't, I'll tell you what will exist. Crystal Palace need a manager in the summer. Fulham need a manager in the summer. Bournemouth need a manager in the summer. 3 top-tier Premier League clubs whose contracts, their managers, they're all expiring. Perfect opportunity for you to play in the Premier League for a few months. Because if you do so well at United, you're pretty much guaranteed a job anyway. It's kind of the way he's looking at it. I'm going to go down here and see what he's saying. What he's saying down here. It's clear, Sam, you don't know why Amorim was sacked, though. We don't need a yes man. I do know why Amorim was sacked. He spoke out against the board. It wasn't the speaking out against the board. He was basically just having arguments with people saying, you do your job, I'll do my job. He felt like people were overstepping the boundaries. Wilcox wants to coach and manage being the director of football. I don't... You know what? You know who that falls on, to me? Omar Barada. I mean, you're the CEO. Chief Executive Officer. If you have somebody who is underneath you, who is overstepping his boundary, that's causing a problem that reverberates and causes ripple effects, then you as a CEO, step in. Say, Jason, step back. You're director of football. That's your role. Here's your list of roles and responsibilities. And here's a list and roles of responsibilities of the head coach. Don't overstep the boundary. Create the lines. That's on Omar Barada more than anybody else. If he's allowing him to do it, that's a problem. Someone down there saying, I'll say it again, a yes man doesn't matter when it's a temporary role. I just think people go over. I'll be honest, I think people go overboard with that. Just a little bit. Look, Ravi, I'm not expecting any signings from United in this window. I think after the news that Rome were pulling out of any Xerxes conversation because United have basically said no, I just can't see it happening. Nor would I want to see us do deals like Gallagher. It's not to say that I don't think there are midfielders who could improve our squad right now. I absolutely think there are. But just Gallagher wouldn't have been one of them for 40 million bloody euros, if I'm being completely honest. What are we saying down here? So why didn't Omar say that to him when it kicked off with Ruben and agree with all parties what their roles and... Danny is kind of exactly my point. I think Omar should have. I think Omar needed to be more of a CEO in that situation and handle his staff. And I don't think he did. And I think maybe just Jason Wilcox was given too much autonomy. It's clear that United are establishing this new structure and haven't exactly got it perfectly right yet. Anyway, we're talking about Carrick right now. Let's go. Sam, it's on Sky Sports News confirming it. Wow. Who looks at Sky Sports News for the bloody news these days? When have they ever been first to bloody anything? Oh, look at that. There you go. We'll have a bit of this. Shubba-da-bub. There's the man himself arriving at Carrington this morning. A little bit later in the show, I'll tell you what my lunchtime video is today. My lunchtime video is going to be, what do I think Michael Carrick's immediate to-do list is at Manchester United? And I'm going to run through yours. I'm going to get you to send yours in. But I'm going to go down here, just kind of keep reading the chats, because I think this is a good conversation. Direct link to Hayden Hackney? Yeah, maybe. I mean, it'll be convenient. It'll be very easy for the press to do, so expect it. Fully expect it. I don't know whether it would happen or not. Don't know what's going on. What's going on here? The only thing I didn't like about Amorim sacking was the timing, says Ravi. The thing I didn't like about Ruben Amorim's sacking was the fact that he was sacked with nothing to do with the football. Nothing to do with the football. Ineos would have sat there and taken any amount of losses or any amount of results all season long if Amram hadn't have gone there and said, you're a sporting director, you do your job, I'm the manager, let me do mine. If he hadn't have done that. Right, what else is going on here? See if anything is breaking. Right, any more info coming out here? There we go. Right. Yeah. Okay. Fair play, Darren. Right. Little bit from Laurie Whitwell here. So, just reconfirming what Sammy Watbell was saying. Steve Holland, Jonathan Woodgate, Johnny Evans and Travis Binion. That's a lot of coaches. So Steve Holland will be his sort of straight up assistant. And I'm presuming Woodgate, Evans and Binion would just be coaches. Remember, Binion was the under-18s coach at United, was now the under-21s coach. And now he's stepping up into the first team. All right. Anyway, look, that bit there. Darren Fletcher was offered a role, but wants to continue leading the under-18s. So Fletcher has decided to not be part of Carrick's backroom staff, wants to stay at the club, but wants to lead, wants to manage, wants to be in control of his team, and wants to work with the younger players. Fair play, man. Fair play. Yeah, I know. Galvin, I completely agree on that. Like, if you're talking about the timing, you're talking about the first two games. City at home and Arsenal away. Hell of an introduction. Although, Carrick did beat Arsenal. I was watching the highlights that the other day. I completely forgot that first goal that Arsenal scored. Where Fred kneed De Gea, effectively. De Gea was down in a heap. And then Smith Rowe just like rolled it into an empty net. And it counted. Yeah, Travis is the under-21s manager. He was, but now he's not going to be. Why do you think we're bringing in a head coach? Do you think we're bringing in a head coach this summer or a manager? It's head coach, Chris. This is the modern. It is the modern way to run a football club of the size of Manchester United. We've modernised in that we've put the structure in place, but it's not exactly working properly yet. And it's mainly down to decisions. Simply, just the decisions haven't been right. If you got the Ten Hag decision right, if you got the Ashworth decision right, if you got the Amram decision right, well, maybe the Amram decision wouldn't. Yeah, but you get the point. The success of a football structure lives and dies by the big decisions that it makes. If you sign a player that's 50 million and ends up becoming an £100 million player, you've made a good decision. You've taken your football club from here and you've improved it. Go the opposite, you buy a 50 mil player that's worth 10 mil and you've made a wrong decision. You've gone downwards, you failed in your job. Ultimately, it's all down to decisions. They just got so many of them wrong. Which is why, by the way, actually this is kind of separate. The video that's coming out, boy, we've got a lot going on in the background. There's going to be a video that I'm probably going to title The Lies of Jim Ratcliffe at Manchester United. And we are going to chronologically go through all the official things that Ratcliffe has said. Because I suppose you can, when it comes to United announcement with Ineos and Ratcliffe and Brailsford and Wilcox and Barada and anything like that, I was filled with optimism. Why wouldn't I be? After everything we've had with the Glazers so far, something else, first of all, is going to be better than nothing. Second of all, they talked a damn good game. And they lured you in. But that's why this video is going out. Because Jim Ratcliffe has said a lot and not followed through on it. And that's what this video is going to be. It's the sort of thing that if you go into a court, you got your evidence on the table, irrefutable, you said this and you didn't do this. So that's what that video is going to be there for. And I think it needs to be sort of publicised in that sense. So that'll be coming out at some point over the next, I don't know, week or two. But Michael Carrick. Am I happy that we're in this position? No. No, not even slightly. And that's not an offence to Carrick. I'd be saying the same thing about Solskjaer or Fletcher or Rude or anybody that you could have announced. I think it's a part of crap that Man United, again, have sacked a manager mid-season and again have to turn towards a former player. Oh, please steady the ship. Oh, help us. That's just a situation we're in. Do I think Carrick's capable of doing it? But I don't think he'd be here if he wasn't. Do I think he will? Well, I don't know. If I'm being, again, full disclosure, like I don't know what to expect. I kind of know-ish what to expect from Carrick's time at Middlesbrough. But again, you look at everything that somebody does at another club, it doesn't really matter to a certain degree. Because so much of the time, it doesn't really translate and come across to Manchester United. Carrick has got a ridiculous job on his hands. Ridiculously difficult, but incredibly rewarding if he can manage it. He's only hit, like, I'm going to put this down as a poll, right? Because I'm curious to know where everyone else stands. If Carrick gets United Champions League football, do you think there's a chance he stays? That's got to be one of the questions that we have. Now, you know my position on that. And emotions can get very, very high. Emotions can ride you on a wave. Jeez, take me back to that Solskjaer, that PSG. Man, that will stand as one of my favourite European away memories. Just being in Paris for that was awesome. I know I wasn't at the game, but there was a lot of us in that pub. They gave us this whole downstairs part of this pub. It was class. You can go and look at my match reaction for that. I am absolutely off my rocker, standing in the corner of the pub on a table with everyone in the background. I love that one. It's quite funny. Now, standing in this position here, I don't think there's any chance. It feels like there's already a plan in place. Hence why we're getting Michael Carrick now. I suppose in the same way, I mean, you could look at the same thing with midfielders. Like, we know who we want. We know we want Elliot Anderson, maybe Carlos Baleba or Adam Wharton. At that level, that's the level of midfielder that we want. You could go out in the January and sign Conor Gallagher if you want, but I'd rather not. I'd rather keep my funds and I'd rather wait and try and maximise what we've got, which is not enough, by the way. So it's going to take a little bit of an overachievement from Carrick to get this midfield cooking to the point where it gets us into the Champions League. It's going to be an overachievement. But basically the same thing might exist with managers. Or maybe not, I don't know. It makes sense in my head. If the manager's the calibre that we want, which has to be like Luis Enrique has to be the number one choice in terms of calibre of candidates, doesn't he? Who else do you think could be above Luis Enrique? In terms of where he is currently as a manager, what he's done in the last couple of years, the track record that he's got, genuinely seems like a really decent bloke. Able to actually get players on board, and actually was part of that PSG switch away from superstars towards younger players, and then obviously them thriving. Not that they didn't have great players, but they definitely switched away from the Neymar Messi situation, and it worked for them. And Luis Enrique led that. Like someone saying Ancelotti, like, do I see Ancelotti really coming into an environment and going, "Oh, Jason, what do you want me to do?" And like it working? I'd probably say the same thing about Luis Enrique and whether it would work there. But I suppose there's Luis Campos at PSG, but I don't know the sort of inner workings of that. Ancelotti might be I don't know. Ancelotti is very much a Louis van Gaal style signing. Sort of a been there, done that, incredibly experienced, incredibly successful. Well, Ancelotti more so than Van Gaal, to be fair. Let me see what other names you got down here. Unai Emery. Unai Emery's going to be going on like a tier 2, man. Someone saying Luis Enrique won't accept if he's going to be a head coach, but kind of surely already he is at PSG. It might not be, I suppose, by a role title, and I suppose that's kind of important in that sense. Nagelsmann down there, someone saying. Xabi Alonso. Well, he's looking for a job. Yeah, I can't look above Enrique, if I'm being completely honest. But there are plenty of other good coaches. Anyway, back to the question I asked you there. Right? Let me check the poll. Nearly 500 votes are in. And I said, if Carrick gets United Champions League football, do you think there's a chance he stays? Quite close, to be honest. 44% of you are saying yes, and 56% of you are saying no. Now, I'm in the 56% gang. I just feel that United... Jeez, you kind of undermine yourself when you say this. I don't have too much belief in United's footballing structure, and then at the same time, I'm saying I think they're going to have a plan. But yeah, I don't think the plan will be walking that same path. Look, man, no one could have expected Solskjaer to crush it in the way that he did when he came in after Mourinho. Like, I know that the feeling... I'd say the feeling after Amorim leaving was a lot more numb than when Mourinho left. When Mourinho left, I was just happy to see the back of Mourinho. Like, there was only so far I could go down that path. I was like, oh, God. And just like the goodwill feeling of Solskjaer coming in was an incredible bounce. And then the results were ridiculous. And we went from absolutely nothing to like endorphin overload. That's what that Solskjaer 4 months was. If you got to enjoy it, you bloody enjoyed it. Do I think that Carrick's going to have the same sort? No, but I don't think we. I'm undermining myself here because it feels like the United fan base. I think we were kind of angry and disconnected when Mourinho left. But right now, and you saw it in the game against... who did we just draw to? Burnley. Then we lost to Brighton. That game against Brighton, like the frustrations in Old Trafford, even like a sideways pass, let alone backwards pass. Oh, it was the frustrations were like kind of at boiling point. That's the environment that Carrick's coming into. So steadying that ship is going to be difficult. And it kind of leads me back to what I said earlier, right? What would you say? This could be a long old list. What would you say like the immediate things that Michael Carrick's got? Like, you could come in and say Carrick's got to fix the fragile mentality of United's players. And I'm like, I mean, how long is a piece of string? That's not really something that you can do with any sort of immediate effect. That's something that the only thing that gets rid of that mentality is winning bloody games of football. If you just put together 5, 6, 7, 8 wins, all of a sudden you start burying that mental fragility, and then you kind of start forgetting about it. It has to happen like consciously has to happen subconsciously if you're thinking about it. So going there and saying fixing the mental fragility would be a very difficult thing for me to actually put on there. But let me see what you're saying down here. Locked alone in the Carrington basement. Do you reckon Carrington's got a basement? Anyone here got a basement? Only serial killers have basements. No, that's a lie. I haven't got one though. Bring back confidence. You know what I think he needs to do? Would I put that down as a first one? I mean, there is an easy way to get United some clean sheets. It's to have less attacking output. But I think that was kind of the hilarious thing. Well, hilarious might be the wrong way to describe it. The objectively quite funny thing about Amorim's system, the fact that we had so many defenders, is the fact that we didn't bloody keep a clean sheet. We need clean sheets, man. Whether that's one of the priority, I don't know, but it's certainly going to be one thing. Quite a few of you are saying this, so I'm going to put that down there. Delo, upon the bench. I think that'll probably happen. I'll run through the starting 11 and sort of like the shape in the system. But that right centre back, if you want to call it that, well, effectively right back, is going to be more of a, as United progress forward, the left fullback is going to push forward, and the right fullback is going to kind of drift in and become a bit of a third centre back, which actually will really suit Mazraoui. That's a fair one down there. Now, that is something I would expect. I wouldn't say quite easily, but that's something you can definitely expect to see a difference in. I'm not gonna expect United to play anywhere near as direct and anywhere near as vertical. It's not to say that we won't, because we will. There will be trigger points. There will be points when boom, it explodes and goes forward. But it's going to be a lot more where United. Would you say Brighton's a fair comparison? I don't know. But you know when you watch Brighton when they're in full flow, and they're kind of like, yeah, come on, come forward. Well, Brighton did it against us, really. Those abilities to play the balls through, to bait the press, and therefore control it out from the back. Carrick will want the players to do that. Whether he will or not, I don't know. Let me see what you're saying down here. Playing young players? I wouldn't put that high on my immediate to-do list, if I'm being completely honest. Convert our chances. Make strikers more clinical. Make attackers more clinical. I don't really think that's something that Carrick himself can do. That's something that comes through confidence, isn't it? Truth be told. I mean, if you look at, was it Latte and who's the other one? Chuba Akpom. Two strikers who played under Carrick for Middlesbrough. Bang the goals in. Akpom more so. But he had goal scorers. Šeško, looking forward to seeing what he's going to do there. Use Ahmad properly. I'll be honest, that's going to be if I'm looking at a choke point for Carrick's setup, it's Ahmad and Mbeumo, and it's that right attacking midfielder position. More tempo in our play. See, this is the thing. If I was to predict something, if anything, I think there will be less tempo in our play. Maybe less tempo is the wrong way to describe it. But he's going to want United to be far more measured than we have been. Don't just always constantly knock it forward after 3 or 4 passes, for fuck's sake. Problem is, Old Trafford's not going to be a good place for that. Because of where we are. Old Trafford gets frustrated quite quickly now. We saw it against Brighton. It feels like Old Trafford gets the fuse, like the patience of Old Trafford is less than what it used to be. I don't know whether there will be more tempo in our play, though. I'll be completely honest. I would put that as a good one. For the love of God, if United go or 1 or 2-0 up and it's with 20 minutes to go, can you just teach these players? And again, that's going to be coming really. That's probably, those two are linked. Control a game of football and better game management. Those two things are completely linked. United never had an ability to slow a game of football down. So because they always played full tilt, it then played at the pace that the other team wanted, and they always bloody came back into it. More crosses for Šeško? Put that down if you want. Anyway, it's an interesting list. The reason I want to put this together is because I'm going to do my list at lunchtime. Yeah, I've seen Ruben Neves getting linked. I'm going to speak about transfers as the final part of today's show. But that's a little list there. So look, clean sheets has got to be one of his top things. Really does. What's going on there? Defend your box better? Nah, I disagree on that one. I don't really want United to be box defending too often, if I'm honest. I'd much rather we had a better mid-block than box defending. And I think from a box defending perspective, if you have Maguire and De Ligt injured and out of your team, you're not going to be anywhere near good enough as box defending, considering they're basically the two best box defenders we've got. JC, I can see you down there, dude. Gifted 20 memberships, man. Thank you. I need to get all my elevator music. We're even bringing back elevator music. Anyway, thank you very much. All of you, please join Discord. Get involved. Probably going to be bringing the quiz back on Friday. I'll get that sorted. My God, my notification's going nutty. And you're saying if we're winning, I want 11 men on the line. Get out of it. Not doing that. Blast from the past. Woodgate of Middlesbrough. Jonathan Woodgate. Famously, one of the worst debuts ever. Go and have a look at what happened in his debut for Real Madrid. How long did it last? Was it like 14 minutes before he got a red card? Something like that. Anyway, it didn't work out. Anybody who's just tuning in, where have you been? First of all. Second of all, welcome aboard. Third of all, David Ornstein's confirmed that Man United have reached the agreement in principle for Carrick, number one. Number two, Carrick's coaching staff have been confirmed. It's going to be Steve Holland, who was Gareth Southgate's assistant manager, which I know that photo and that name is going to make everyone crap themselves. The way I'm looking at that is very much in the Mike Phelan category. I don't think it's going to be sexy. It's going to be somebody that Michael Carrick can, behind closed doors, lean on and ask questions that Steve Holland might have experienced answers for. That's what it is. Somebody that he needs as a support network, I suppose. It's not exactly sexy in any way, shape or form, but assistant managers kind of don't have to be sometimes. Jonathan Woodgate, well, is what it is. He's back at the club. Back at the club? He's at the club. And then the other two are Travis Binion, who's the under-21s head coach, who was part of Darren Fletcher's, and Johnny Evans. I don't really know what Johnny Evans is going to do, but I'm guessing a defensive coach in some way, shape or form. And final note is that Darren Fletcher was offered a role from Laurie Whitwell, but he's chosen to stay with the under-18s. Yeah, that picture doesn't help. Should I get another photo of Steve Holland? Steve Holland without Gareth Southgate. There we go. Should probably not just always click the first photo, hey? There he is. Look how much better he looks. There's no Gareth Southgate in sight. Right, let's see if anything else is breaking on this. Not that I can see. Let's have a look. Nope. All good. And yeah, here is the first photo of Michael Carrick at Carrington this morning. So what I'd imagine the plan is, we're probably going to be getting the announcement at some point today. We'll go live. We'll have a chat for half an hour when the announcement is made. It makes sense, right? My lunchtime video is going to be on, well, I don't know how many videos are going to get dropped today. Quite a lot. Donkey. I lost my signal when he first started talking about Southgate. It's always pissed me off, the amount of oxygen that's been given by dumb people to that pure guff and nonsense that never went past it. Just pure scaremongering tactics. It's really odd way to operate yourself as a United fan. Full disclosure. Right. Let's finish with two more bits of news. Neither of them are going to really cheer you up. But a lot of the news around United doesn't really cheer you up right now. We need money. We're not as rich a football club as we should be because, of course, the ownership and those blood-sucking bastards. There's a protest going to be happening, by the way, on, I think it's the 1st of February. I think it's the Fulham game. Watch this space. I'll be sort of speaking to and helping 58 wherever I can, as kind of I have done on this channel for a long, long time. But United are definitely, it wouldn't surprise me, by the way, if we go and we do more than one of these. Flying out to Saudi, doing some sort of exhibition game, earning like some, I don't know. Remember how much we earned from that Malaysian end of season tour last season? Jeez. Finished 15th, lost Europa League final, and you're making me watch 2 more games. Are you kidding me? That was bad. United are going to do this. I imagine they're going to do one. It wouldn't surprise me if they did 2. We've got 17 games between now and May. There's going to be a lot of empty spaces in terms of the schedule of United. I imagine the club's going to try and fill them with money-spinning friendlies to try and make up for the gap that we've created by being crap. The crap gap. Filled with Saudi friendlies. Oh, football's fun, isn't it? Not. But that's what's going to happen. From a transfer perspective, this is the Athletic's latest transfer deal sheet. And I wish... Hey, look, me and Steve, we prepared the transfer whiteboards. We had everything ready to go for a January transfer window. We were going to cover maybe anything that could happen. Conversations with both, in terms of Carrick and Solskjaer, have not led to any changes in transfer plans. It remains the case that United will only move for targets should long-term ones become available, or if they need to act to stop a rival taking the lead in the chase for one of the players they are monitoring. United kind of did that with Semenyo. Semenyo chose City. United are going to kind of sit on their hands and not do anything this Jan. Now, I did a video, was it last week? I think it's a mistake. Sorry, yawn came out of nowhere. I think it's a mistake to go through this window, this January window of all Januaries, and not strengthen, given what's available. But United are going to be doing it. Because the players that we want aren't available. So therefore, United aren't going for players like Gallagher. And like you can throw in like Angelo Stiller into this category if you want. Or other midfielders in the 30 to 40 mil mark. I would love United to strengthen. I don't think United will strengthen. Right? Which is it's nothing new. That's just effectively that's the January transfer window. The club is blocking Xerxes' move to Roma. Mainu was potentially going to be leaving, but Amram got sacked, so Mainu's staying. So that's completely off the cards as well. And they were the two main exits that could have happened. And in terms of the signings, well, you know the midfielders that we linked with. I don't need to run through any of them again. This maybe could force our hand. Right, that one there. If somebody comes in with a 60, 70 mil bid for Elliot Anderson, or something happens with Carlos Baliba, maybe that will force United's hand. I would say that's pretty much the only way we're going to sign someone. As far as everything I'm seeing, I'm not seeing any hints towards any loans. Ugarte to Turkey, that's being linked, but it's all whiffy still. Nothing's really substantiated in that sense. If it does, I'll bring it to you, but don't know. Hooky, you saying if we did have cash, it's just been used to pay off Ruben and his staff. It'll be dormant until the summer. Well, we don't have much cash, you know that full well. Who's that? DM. D-double-M. Eminem. D-Eminem. Gifting 10 memberships. Good morning to you, dude. Thank you very much. Big old star, this community. You seen City looking at Anderson? Mate, if City look at Anderson, I don't know whether United get him or not. I really, really don't. But I'm going to wrap up that one for today. Let me quickly check nothing else has come out. Yeah, cool. All good. It's all covered. So, Carrick announcements coming today. We'll go live. We'll have a half an hour chat, run through the official announcement. Lunchtime video is probably going to be on what Carrick must do immediately. And then I'm going to have a video, hopefully prepped on Carrick's tactics, how he'll change United, and what his strongest team will be, and who fits into it, and where the problems are. That's going to be covering today. And then tomorrow, well, he takes his first training session ahead of City. Thursday, we're going to have the City starting 11. And things move on. Things move fast. Yeah, no one expected this at the start of Jan. Last Monday was Amram sacked. This Monday was Carrick coming in. And, yeah, decision made. Thank you all for tuning in. Can I say a big shout out to JC, to DMM, to who else gifted memberships to? I think it was Gungshi at the start of the show. To all of you, thank you so, so much. You keep supporting the community. I'll keep investing back into it. Can I just say something to keep an eye on over these next couple of months? There's some things I'm doing behind the scenes content-wise. We're restarting our short-form content. So from this week, we're going to be hopefully doing 2 videos a week. Now, with short form, I've always despised a bit of a strong word. I've never really liked short form because it's brain rot a lot of the time, isn't it? So we're going to try and bring some high quality level short forms that are sustainable that we can do more of. And if they work and they resonate and you enjoy them, we'll do more and more of them. We'll put them out on TikTok, on Facebook Reels, on YouTube Shorts, and maybe on Instagram as well. And then on top of that, you're going to be seeing hopefully a little bit more of Dan and Nick on the channel over these next couple of months. Going to be introducing them into the live show at some point, fingers crossed. Lots of changes and actually properly expanding the team and bringing some new faces in to United People's TV, because it is just me, but I'm going to need more people now over this next year if we're going to get to this next level that we want to get to together. All right, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for being part of it. I'll see you probably a little bit later today for another live show. Yeah, make sure you check out the lunchtime. And there'll probably be another video later. Busy.